So, good morning to everyone. This is Dr. Kausar, Unnisa, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce and Management, GFGC, KG. So, today in this class, I'm going to have a discussion on cost accounting. That is, Introduction to Cost Accounting. Let us will have a study how the cost accounting has came into existence. So, we know that accounting serves the purpose of providing financial information relating to the activities of a business. The information will be provided to shareholders, managers, creditors, debenture holders, or banks, or any tax authorities. But on the basis of type of accounting information and the purpose for which information is used, it has been categorized into three branches. So one is financial accounting, cost accounting, and next one is the management accounting. So in this class, we are going to have discussion on cost accounting, not with financial and management accounting. We know that cost accounting is a branch of accounting which has been developed due to the limitations of financial accounting. What do you mean by financial accounting? Means it is nothing but an art of recording, classifying, summarizing, interpreting the accounting results which are needed to the external users through by profit and loss account as well as the balance sheet. This financial accounting is primarily concerned with record keeping which are directed towards the preparation of profit and loss and the balance sheet. It provides information regarding the profit and loss of the business enterprise and also its financial position of a particular date. The financial accounting reports helps the management to control in a general way where the various functions of the business it fails to give the detailed report on the efficiency of various divisions. Therefore, the limitations of financial accounting which leads to the development of cost accounting. So what are the limitations that we are going to come across for the existence of cost accounting? Here there are few limitations we have highlighted. So it shows only the performance, not the individual performance. It shows only the overall performance, but not the individual performance. This financial accounting does not help in developing the standards to assess the performance of various persons or the departments because it also does not help in checking the cost and it do not exceed the reasonable limit for a given quantum of work of the requisite quality. Whenever we are going to have a study, the overall study we are going to have towards the business organization, but we are not going to have of any departments, of any branches or of any persons, because whenever we are going to depict the P&L account and the balance sheet is not highlighting of any concerned department, it is not highlighting any concerned branch. For example, it may be related to different branches we can able to see purchase, sales, right? So all these kind of different individual things is finding very difficult in case of financial accounting because it is going to be highlighted with the help of financial statements, that is balance sheet and the P&L account. And then second limitation is that there is no clear idea about of the operating efficiency because sometimes profits in an organization may be less or it may be more because of inflation or because of trade depression or not due to efficiency or inefficiency. But financial accounting does not give a clear reason for profit and loss. So that is also one of the limitations. And it does not help in fixing the price. So in financial accounting, we get the total cost of production, but it does not aid in determining the prices of the products or services or production order or any line of products. So it becomes very difficult to fix the price in case of financial accounting. And the next thing is that there will be no classification of expenses and accounts. So in financial accounting, we don't get any data relating to the cost incurred by the departments or the process separately, or any cost per unit of a product, or any cost incurred in the various sales. And further, these expenses are not classified as direct or indirect, controllable or uncontrollable, and all the value added in each process is not being reported in the case of financial accounting. So we can able to say that there will be no any segregation of expenses or classification of expenses cannot be seen in case of financial accounting concept. And the next limitation is that no data for comparison and decision making. As we know that this financial accounting, it does not supply any useful data to the management for comparison with the previous period and for taking various financial decisions, as the introduction of new products or replacement of labors by machines or price in the normal or any special circumstances, producing a part in the factory or buying it from the outside market, or production of a product to be continued or to be given up, or investments has to be made on new products. All these things of decisions, it is not been highlighted in the case of financial accounting. So the cost accounting has came into existence. And the next thing is that it provides only historical information. We know that financial accounting records only the historical costs. It does not provide the day-to-day cost information to the management for making effective plans for the future. So that is also one of the limitation of financial accounting. And we cannot able to analyze any analysis of losses also. See, in case of financial accounting, it does not provide the complete analysis of losses due to defective material or idle time or idle plant and equipment. These kind of concepts will not be studied in the case of financial accounting. So no distinction can be made between the avoidable and unavoidable wastages also. So it becomes very difficult to have a study about any kind of the analysis of losses in case of financial accounting. That is also one of the limitations. And the next part is inadequate information for reports. This financial accounting, it does not provide the adequate information for reports to any outside agencies. It may be of banks, government, insurance companies, and of any trade associations. These kind of agencies, if any reports with relate to any particular information cannot be generated in case of financial accounting. So we can able to say that cost accounting has came into existence. Cost accounting has come because of the industrial development, and due to the some of the reasons we can able to say there will be no classified cost figures can be there, and no fixation of selling price can be done in case of financial accounting, or no classification of expenses, the causes of loss, or for the standards of evaluation, or the to take any managerial decisions. Therefore, the cost accounting has came into existence. Before going to have a study on the cost, costing, cost accounting, and also the cost accountancy, let us will see a term that is called as cost. What do you mean by cost? Cost is nothing but the expenses incurred on production of a particular commodity, or cost is nothing but the amount of expenditure incurred or attributable to a given thing for producing a particular product. What are all the expenses those are going to be incurred? It may be of direct or indirect for any particular product, or for a production of any particular commodity, right? So the expenditure which is going to be incurred both in the form of direct and indirect, right? So how much of the amount of expenditure is going to be incurred, that is going to be termed by the name or by the term that is called as cost. Therefore, cost is nothing but the amount of an expenditure incurred to a particular product or the expenses incurred on production of a commodity. That is called as cost. Yeah, according to the cost accounting standards of ICWA, they might have been defined what do you mean by cost? That is nothing but cost is a measurement of monetary terms of amount of resources used for the purpose of production of goods or rendering the services. That is nothing but cost. And what do you mean by this costing? What do you mean by this costing? So the costing means simply cost finding by any process or techniques. Costing means it is both this costing and cost accountings are both terms are often used interchangeably, but we can able to find a little difference between these two. Costing means cost finding by any process or technique, or the techniques and process of ascertaining the cost, or the methods and techniques applied to control and reduce the cost is called as costing. So we can able to say very clearly that costing is nothing but the methods and techniques applied to control and to reduce the cost is called as costing. For example, you can able to see here there are two terms, one is control and one there is reduction of cost. What do you mean by control? Control is nothing but the waste expenditure we can able to control. For example, if you want to purchase a phone or nothing but an Android phone, do we require to purchase an Apple company? No, it is not required, because Android phones to access any kind of data, we should see the cost of some within the 10,000 or 6,000, 7,000, because the Apple iPhone it cost of how much, that is of 70 to 80,000, that is not required for our particular study. Therefore, it becomes the wasteful expenditure. This wasteful expenditure can be controlled, right? And what do you mean by this reduction of cost means if we are, because there is no need at all in case of control, when we say there is no need of purchasing such kind of the expensive phone. In case of if becomes a very badly in need of it means we can go for purchasing. For example, if you are going to purchase a shop, the cost may be of 70,000. If you are going to purchase in Amazon, it may cost to 69,000. If you are going to purchase, because we are not forgiving any kind of quality. The quality will be same. It's the same thing if you are going to purchase with the Flipkart, you can able to see we can able to assess with a price of 68,000. Then which better thing we are going to opt means we'll go for Flipkart only, because 2,000 reduction can be seen on the basis of expenditure what it is going to be incurred for purchasing the iPhone. So that is called as reduction of cost. So costing it includes what means costing is nothing but the cost finding by any process or techniques, or you can able to say the methods and techniques applied to control and to reduce the cost is called as costing. Let us will see what do you mean by this cost accounting. What do you mean by this cost accounting? Cost accounting is nothing but the methods of accounting of cost. Cost accounting is nothing but what? The process of accounting for cost from the point at which the expenditure is incurred or it is committed. Therefore, according to CIMA of UK, they define cost accounting is nothing but the process of accounting for cost from the point at which the expenditure is being incurred or it may be committed for the establishment of ultimate relationship with cost center and cost unit. What are these cost center and cost unit means? So we can have very in simple manner to be remember that cost accounting means the methods of accounting for cost is called as cost accounting. How means with the help of cost center and cost unit. What is this cost center? We are going to study here means cost centers are nothing but the location can be called as cost center, or the person can be called as cost centers, or the item of equipments can be called as cost center, where we are going to ascertain the cost for the purpose of control. What do you mean by this cost unit? Cost unit, it is nothing but the measurement where we are going to measure the cost. How we are going to measure the cost? That is called as cost unit. Cost unit is nothing but the unit of product or service or time in terms of which costs are ascertained or expressed. If you are going to express the cost in terms of measurement, that is called as cost unit. For example, we can able to see here that is kgs of chemical, because this chemical we are going to make, it is just like the units where we are going to have an expression. Chemical, we are going to purchase chemical means in terms of kg. How many kgs of chemical we are going to purchase? If we are going to purchase paper means how many reams of paper we are going to purchase? If we are going to purchase steel means how many tons of steels we are going to be purchased. Based on these measurement, or we can able to say 1000 bricks petrol are being measured in terms of liters. Based on those units, we are going to ascertain the cost. That is called as cost unit. And the next thing is nothing but cost accountancy. What do you mean by this cost accountancy? The application of costing and the cost accounting principles, methods and techniques to the science, art and practice of cost control and ascertainment of profitability. That is called as cost accountancy. So let us we have what are the objectives of this costing. Let us we can able to see by one what are the objectives. The main objectives of costing, they have been classified here. So the first objective is nothing but the ascertainment of cost. What do you mean by this ascertainment of cost? This is one of the primary objective of the cost accounting. For cost ascertainment, different techniques and systems of costings are used under different circumstances. Or we can able to say the basic objective of cost accounting is nothing but the ascertainment of cost for products and services. For cost ascertainment, different techniques and systems of costing is being used. That is how we can able to ascertain the cost. So with the help of techniques and the systems, it is possible to have an ascertainment, to know how much of cost is going to be incurred. That is the basic primary objective of the costing. And the next one is called control of cost. What do you mean by this cost control means? Cost control is, it will aims to improve the efficiency by controlling and reducing the cost, because this objective will becomes very important during the time of growing competition. As we know that control of cost is nothing but wasteful expenditure can be avoided with the help of control. That is also one of the objective of costing. And the next one is reduce of cost. How the cost can be, if the wasteful, if it is not a wasteful expenditure, if it is badly in need, the expenditure has to happen means we can able to see that how the cost can be reduced, by what methods the cost can be reduced. So that is also one of the objective of costing. And also it guides to the business policy. This cost accounting aims at serving the needs of management in conducting the business with utmost efficiency, because the cost data will provide guidelines for the various managerial decisions like buying, selling, and also for the utilization of the idle plant capacity or introduction of the new product the business requires, or these policies are required for the expenses of all these or for taking up the decisions. So this costing will guide the business by framing its policies. That is also one of the objectives of costing. And the next one is to determination of selling price. We know that cost accounting provides cost information on the basis of which selling prices of the products or services may be fixed. In the periods of depression or this cost accounting guides in deciding that the extent to which the selling prices may be reduced to meet the special situations. So that is also one of the objective, and the next is calculation of profit. We know that cost means before determining the selling prices, the expenses which is going to be incurred. For example, the cost of production is 10 rupees means we cannot able to sold it for 10 only, because we require to balance the expenses in the organization. So we have to fix the selling prices. The selling prices should be more than the cost. Means 10 rupees means if you are adding 2 rupees as a profit means, then it becomes 12 rupees the price of a particular product. To calculate profit also, we require cost. If the cost of production, if it becomes less means, even though if we have the percentage of 10%, 20%, 30%, it doesn't makes the any kind of losses. If, for example, instead of producing a 10 rupees, if the cost has come down to 8 rupees or 5 rupees means, the same percentage if you are going to involve, or the rupees, for example, if it is 2 rupees, also we can able to sell, we can able to determine the selling price very easily. That is also one of the objective of costing. Let us, we can go for some of the differences between cost accounting and financial accounting. When we say based on the meaning, cost accounting is nothing but the system which is keeps the tracks of cost which has incurred in the production operation in the company. But financial accounting, it doesn't have any kind of track towards the expenses where it is going to be incurred. It is going to be studied, what means it is studied about only the accounting system where we are going to collect the records and company financial information to demonstrate the company's accurate financial position at a specified date. So with this meaning, we can able to have the differentiation that it doesn't defining the different types of cost which is going to be incurred for the production. But the cost can be highlighted, but in case of financial accounting, it is not being highlighted. And the second type difference is nothing but historical cost or predetermined cost here. Here not historical cost will also be considered. It will be considered in the manner of predetermined cost. But in case of financial accounting, only historical cost will be considered, right, for the study. And the next one is difference. It is not mandatory except for manufacturing concern. Maintenance of cost books or cost records, it is not mandatory. But the maintenance of financial accounting books or records are mandatory to all types of the firms. And the next difference when we are going to see in terms of information type, this cost accounting records the labor, material, overhead information used in the production process. But in the case of financial accounting, only monetary terms are recorded. But here, only monetary terms of actual figures, what it has been incurred, it is being recorded. But here, what all the expenses are incurred for labor, material, or any overhead information for producing a particular production or for a particular process is being highlighted very clearly in case of cost accounting, but it is not being shown in case of financial accounting. And the next difference is that the valuation of stock will be valued only at the cost, but here the valuation of stock is not is valued at a net realized value, market value, or cost value, whichever is less in case of financial accounting. And in case of cost accounting, it helps to prepare budgeting techniques, right? Or forecasting can also be done. But in case of financial accounting, forecasting cannot be possible, because whatever the actuals are there, with the help of that only we are going to prepare the P&L account and the balance sheet. But in case of cost accounting, before going to incur some expenses, estimated figures will be considered, not the actual figures. That is the difference we are seeing in case of cost and financial accounting. And the next, based on the purpose, cost accounting is a controlling and reducing the cost. But financial accounting is not a controlling and reducing cost because it has to keep the entire record of the financial transaction. In case of profit analysis, how it can be ascertained means, in cost accounting, normally the profits are analyzed, right, for a specific job or for a specific batch, product or process. But in case of financial accounting, expenditures, profit, income are analyzed simultaneously for a specific period of entire unit. So these are all the differences that we are going to come across in case of cost accounting. Let us we have the study towards how the costing system can go for, how the steps can be taken for the installation of costing system. The installation of costing system requires the following steps has to be taken. The first one is the primarily investigation should be made relating to the technical aspects of the business, because the nature of product, method of production will determine the type of costing should be applied, because here the investigations are required uh, in terms of the technical aspects of the business. What technical means, what is the nature of the product they are going to be produced, we have to produce, and what methods are followed for the production. These are all has to be, type of costing is going to be applied. These all has to be studied before the installation of the, while installation of the costing system is being done. And the second one is that the organizational structure of a business, it should be studied to ascertain the scope of authority, and the existing organization should be distributed to the minimum as it may be advisable after consideration completely. So the organizational structure of the business has to be studied completely before going to have an installation of costing system. And the next one is that we should go for examination for the method of what purchase, storage and issue of materials, right? It should be examined and also can be modified according to our requirements. And the next thing is that these are all the steps has to be followed, and examining the existing methods of remunerating the laborers. It should be the existing methods of remunerating labor should be examined for the purpose of what means, for the purpose of introducing if any incentive plans your people are going to give to the laborers. So before going to have an cost, while we are going to install the costing system, that steps also has to be followed. And the next thing is that the size and layout of the factory has to be studied completely, and also the costing system should be effective in case of cost control and also the cost reduction, and the installation and operations of the system should be economical. So these are all the steps has to be followed while going to have an installation of a costing system, because these all information will be provided accurate, then only we can able to supply the accurate information to the management. If not means the system, whenever we are going to have before operation, the system should be very simple and operate, because unnecessary we should not avoid any kind of details during the time of installation. So these are all the steps for the costing system. So with this, I am going to end the session. Let in the next session we can go discussion for the further concepts. Thank you.